Hello everyone, Gray here,
And Aiden.
and welcome back to another video where today we will be the first people to ever review, or even physically review for that matter, the alternate model for set number 7475, Firehammer versus Mutant Lizards. So a quick backstory on this video. Not too long ago, YouTube user Schlelkehov commented on our Firehammer versus Mutant Lizard video that he had managed to reverse engineer the alternate model on the back of the box for the Firehammer. Now, I had no idea at the time that there was anything else left to do to Dino Attack. I was nice and content. I had finally collected all the Dino Attack sets. You know, I was there. I had the largest possible Dino Attack collection. But no. Turns out that there was actually an alternate model for each and every one of the sets. Now, you may be wondering, some of you guys who know more about Dino Attack may be wondering where these were, as you've probably never seen them. And that's because they appeared on presumably the first run of boxes that came from the Dino Attack line. You see, it seems that LEGO was originally planning, LEGO was definitely originally planning up until release to actually give alternate models for each of the vehicles, but they ultimately ended up scrapping the alternate models because they just couldn't be made using both versions of the set. But, however, seeing as they were seemingly scrapped right before the sets hit production, the alternate models did make it onto the first print of the set boxes. So you'll see that about maybe a third or fourth of the set boxes have the small alternate model pictured in the upper right corner. And you would have originally been able to build these by going onto the lego.com link and presumably going to the Dino Attack page, and you would have been able to recover the instructions from there. But seeing as LEGO last minute scrapped it, they never ended up actually releasing the alternate models onto the website, and so the rest is history. These things got forgotten, but because they did make it onto physical copies of the set boxes and are specifically labeled alternate model on an official LEGO product, I still consider these official LEGO alternate models, as they should be. So going back to Schlelkehov, he kindly provided an instructional breakdown video of the thing and was instrumental in helping me uncover the rest of the Dino Attack alternate models, and it's because of him that we're able to do this today and the upcoming LEGO reviews. So seriously, thank you, Schlelkehov. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So starting with the front of the vehicle, it has this really unique kind of lowrider aesthetic that I absolutely love. It has a exposed engine similar to the original, and just kind of a grill here, which is nice. And one thing that I love about it compared to the original set is it has just this really sleek and smooth frontal design that the other fails to capture. The Firehammer's a lot more blocky than this thing, and I absolutely love this. So yeah, as you can see here, it has like this kind of almost bunker style window where you can see the minifigure Viper seated inside. It has these kind of spaced out tires from the frame, which I really think helps give it its unique aesthetic, but also, it helps it give it almost a buggy-like appearance. But with everything else, it still ends up looking like a truck. So it's almost like an off-road truck kind of aesthetic. Coming around to the side, you have these doors which kind of open. They're not really supposed to, but as you've seen me fiddle with them a few times, they kind of go up and down, so it's not the most stable thing. And with the extra pieces from the set, there wasn't really a way I could actually secure these in place without affecting what it would look like too much. So yeah, this is about as official as you're going to get it, and it's kind of fragile, but really it works well enough. So coming along to the back here, you have this really interesting kind of flatbed truck aesthetic, which, I think works fine. But the real star of the show here is this odd-looking gun. So this gun has room for 2 separate ammunitions, And I think the way you fire them is like so, just simply flicking them. Bam, and... oh, well, that one didn't work so well. But yeah, it's a really rudimentary gun as far as this goes. They probably could use something up here to like stick it together, make it a little more firm, because they're only attached by one stud, so they can come off semi-easily. And I know the official image doesn't actually show any missiles being inside, but I mean, presumably that's what they're for, and the set comes with 4 of these things, so I don't think it's too much of a stretch to set these things in here. Coming along to the side, you have a single little wheel to presumably move the thing up and down manually, but seeing as it's completely unmanned, you can probably operate it from the front, but manually if you would need to. And then coming along to the sides, I absolutely love how they used the grill kind of piece right here, or the light piece, as this kind of engine-y thing right up here. It just works super well and really gives the side a nice profile. And then coming to the back once more, you have 2 clips for equipment. One here houses this walkie-talkie. The other is empty. And then there's simply a radio communications antenna in the back here, which all good Dino attack vehicles should have. Now, probably one of the most interesting things about the vehicle, aside from its front and spectacular rear window, is this construction, is the construction of this the angled back wheels. You see, this is pretty remarkable and it just is an ingenious way to use the pieces given. So this whole little back wheel area is built upside down, as you can see by the downward facing studs. And honestly, I think this works really well. It gives that perfect front angled look, and it feels really smooth from the back, especially as there's no studs poking up, and it's only anti-stud, so it just really works well. With that said, that's really all there is for this vehicle. So, comparing the 2 vehicles side by side, one thing I noticed right off the bat is that the alternate model for the set actually, like I said, really just has a much sleeker front than the original. I really think that this model just greatly improves on the Firehammer's design in several ways. Although it is a little bit smaller, however slightly, meaning it does have a little less play space. But I think that with the sacrifices made, as far as size, the design greatly benefits from it. Now, the only and I just love the little bit of an angle back here, and yeah, even I think it looks better from, well, they look about even from the back, but this is definitely a little more interesting to look at. But aside from the front, the Firehammer's cockpit inside seating space is actually quite a bit larger, as you'd expect, than the alternate model. And you could probably fit, I don't know, a whole team of like 6 guys in here. Meanwhile, you could really only fit a maximum of 2 in here. Maybe 3 if you're really clown-carring it. The only other main thing to point out, aside from the Firehammer having superior in the dark navigation due to actually having headlights, is the guns. Both guns are unique in their own right, and ultimately I feel like each one works for its respective vehicle. This one has the really cool function of being able to fire back on the hammer and then launch forward, like so, and then has 2 extra ammo stored in the side. Meanwhile, this is simply a presumably flick fire contraption, which works fairly well, as expected. But looking at them from the front, I definitely think that the Firehammer has the better gun. Functionally and visually, it looks a whole lot better from the front. However, this thing, when it comes to the side, I feel like the alternate model kind of has some points on the Firehammer, where the Firehammer, you have this beautiful front and then a lot of just exposed Technic rigging on the side and just some weird colors, like this normal green as opposed to the lime, this red and this blue poking through. Meanwhile, this just has the blue and then the engine light stickers, which really make it feel like some effort went into the gun. And, I like that. Plus, the gun's dually posable. It's able to go up a little bit here, and up and down a little bit through here. So overall, I think that this vehicle is actually an improvement on the original in several ways, but I don't think it certainly outshines the original model. But I think it is a pretty equal model. What do you think, Abe?
I don't know. It just seems like if you took it and then divided it by 1. The gun's a little worse in my opinion. It's not as big and bulky. I mean, which is good in some regards, but I don't think in this one. It's more of like a speed, like super fast speed version. Like the Firehammer can go over rough terrain. This thing is like super fast. Maybe something like that.
Yeah, it has a lower to the ground design that makes it seem like it's a little more geared for speed. I see that. So with that said, I'd give this vehicle a solid B on the grading scale, as I feel that it improves some things from the original model, but isn't ultimately better necessarily, but more of an equal. And the design's fantastic, it's lovely, everything works as intended, so I really have no faults with this. So with that out of the way, thank you everyone so much for watching. Please stay tuned for more videos like this coming in the future. Thank you so much to Schleupkehav for kindly helping me with this and future projects. And please have yourselves a good night.